guys, I'm shooting my first question to you all because I'm sure the audiences will be really excited. So now I want to understand that why is there such a big hype around these corporate case studies or these corporate competitions? So there's a huge buzz around it and everyone is so excited and gung-ho about it. So why is that? And why is it important for people to participate in these competitions? Like what do the students get out of it by participating in all these competitions? What did you guys get out of it? So what was the reason for participating and why we should do it?
Sharu, you would like to take this up?
Okay, sure. So the very first thing that came to my mind when I went into XIMB was I used to go through these profiles of my seniors or other people who were already doing MBA, and I used to see in their handles like national winners of some competition, maybe MWR or ITC Interbank or something like that, and used to attract me very much. And this word national winner is such a big deal actually in colleges, right? So the moment I got to understand that, I was kind of, and I think both Arushi would also agree, like we kind of understood that this is something unique. This is something that for you, for which you can be respected in college, something that you can get some enriching experience, and that was the whole idea of it. Like we were not very sure, like what exactly happens when we just joined, like how do these things happen, how we compete, what are the things that we need to do. But there was just this overall glitz and glamour of corporate case study competitions. Like when we went to the campus first time, so there was like people who had won one competition, and they were the national winners of that, and everyone used to say like, do you know that senior, he has won that, right? So this kind of things we picked up, and we used to ask each other like, what is this big deal? So why is everyone talking about it? And slowly, I think we got to understand that what is actually, it's the respect, it's the honor that comes with the winning of a case study competition. And because not only in campus, more evenly, because the people who are there in the corporate, they also value you, they take your solutions seriously, they actually implement your solutions. So just moving on with the slides, like we would like to keep a track of the slides. So the first thing that I think we would like to mention is like, these are real life business problems that corporate cases give to you, right? I mean, these are problems that actually the brand managers of HUL are facing. They do not have a direct solution to, and they want some freshness in their idea. That is exactly why this kind of ideas are given, like these are kind of questions are shooted out to the colleges through corporate case studies. And that's the whole, because you are actually solving a corporate to achieve their dream or achieve their objective, whatever.
And the theory that you learn in classes won't give you this kind of exposure that corporate cases give. And secondly, mutual learnings from peer. The best part about this is that you work in a team and everyone has a different perspective, different thought process, different skills. So MBA is all about networking. First, you do that. Secondly, you learn from your peers. So that is a biggest learning. In spite of, like, even if you don't get any rewards or PPIs or anything, but the learnings that you get is priceless. And brainstorming, obviously, if they have given their real life problems which they are facing, so we get to brainstorm, apply a lot of concepts, and constantly keep in touch with each other, and like just come up with ideas, counter question each other. So that is itself a very huge extensive thing that we do.
I would just like to add a point here. So I think for Carpe Diem, we actually didn't know how much the price was, or like what are, like they did not mention upfront what kind of prize money we are going to get if they are actually going to win the national level event. So we didn't know that, but later on we just participated, and then we got to find out. And in actually when we won that, we got to know how much prize we received. So there is PPIs also, there is a recognition throughout their Instagram handles, their Facebook handles. You get your whole profile comes, there is so much visibility about you, both in your campus, outside your campus. Even people from different colleges, like those who have participated with you, they come back to you and ask like, we really liked your solution, and amazing feat, man. So they will say all these things. So that is the whole.
I remember in Tectonic, one team came to us that, like, we both had similar ideas. But what did you do extra? Like, they were rechecking their ideas with us as to where we lacked, where our idea lacked, and everything. So that was really nice.
So that's my next question to you both is that what are some of the elements which are required to put together to crack these case studies? Like what did you like? How did you guys end up as a team, or what are some of the prerequisites that people need to have while coming together to crack a case study? What are some of the things you guys would recommend someone should have as a prerequisite, like a checkpoint, as you guys mentioned?
Yes.
Arushi, you
So
can go forward. Yeah.
yeah, so before even thinking about case studies, like there's a huge the period between July to August, there are a lot of case studies coming up, and already the hype is created. So the people already are interacting with each other. They're trying to. So the biggest point that you need to do without before case studies is to team building. It is very important because you need to have everything in a team, be it gender diversity, because the thought process of a girl and a guy really matters. It is different, and that even the corporates also recognize. Secondly, you need to have multiple skills. Someone might be good in data, someone might be good in research, someone might be good in ideas, creativity. So all those skill sets should be there in a team complementing each other. Thirdly, I would like to say that experience, one person should be a little experienced so that they can give feasibility and a concrete, you can make your ideas concrete as per the business, because that is very important. They look for such solutions which has an end-to-end solution to it. Also, one biggest insight, one biggest learning that I got after participating in so many case studies is that even if you lack a certain skill in your team, but the dedication should be there. Like all the members in the team should be equally dedicated towards case studies, and they should give in their time, because first years is very hectic. Everyone's busy with classes, solution, like there are multiple activities going on simultaneously. So if you just pitch into those ideas, those people, you come up together who are willing to give in some additional time to case studies, only then will you be able to move ahead. Apart from that, like every case study should be well researched for before. Like for example, in Carpedium, we actually went to the last year campus national finalists, and we checked the cases before. So a lot of research goes for prior to any case study, be it HUL Tectonic, HUL Lime, anything. L'Oreal, whatever case it is, you need to research, you need to find out people who have already participated and gone to a certain level. Because the learnings that they will share with you, you won't be able to get that just sitting idle. And third is that even if you need to have graphic skills, whether as per the submittals, some case studies demand a video, some submittals demand a presentation or a Word document. So you need to be presentable as well, because you cannot only have ideas and solutions, but what, like if you don't know how to portray it to the panelists, then it is of no use.
Absolutely.
So these are the major checkpoints that we thought of
Uh,
after.
so Arushi has actually put everything, most of the things, but I think I will give some very small hacks or small things that we applied for us to make it a team, or like what, like that process. So for example, if you are pairing up with someone for a case study competition, you need to make sure that you eat, sleep, breathe case studies every single time. That case studies is the only thing that you have in your mind. Sure, you sit for a placement committee interviews. Sure, you go for a sports committee interview, you take part in different activities, but to actually nail a competition, all the time some or the other thought has to be related with case study. I mean, okay, maybe I am exaggerating a little bit, maybe, but I do realize that you understand the point, that small examples, like me and Arushi used to go on walks, like maybe we are having tea or coffee, then also we are actually talking about Brook Bond tea, right? We are having tea and we are trying to think about what HUL is trying to do with Brook Bond. So it's not like you sit with a paper and discuss and make points. No, that is not required. You can just simply talk, and from there the ideas come. I remember for Carpe Diem, in 5:30 in the morning, we are just out of ideas. We have absolutely no idea what we are going to present, and like all my ideas have been discarded by Arushi. All Arushi's idea have been discarded by me, and there was also Umang, our third partner. who was trying to balance both of us, right? So I thought that it was a good time. Maybe we should just go out and have some tea or something almost at 5 in the morning. And then while having tea, we came up with a solution to the tea brand. Just understand how
We spent 4 or 5 hours just for brainstorming ideas, and we didn't come up with anything. Like the entire night, we were only thinking about ideas, and in the end, we were like, "This is the best idea."
so that is one thing I should say, that you need to be make sure that your teammates are very very serious like you. Do not pair up with someone who just speaks well. Do not pair up with someone if he has good marketing knowledge or something, because who knows, he might not be able to put that effort only. You might not be
Yes.
able to extract that knowledge.
Dedication and passion,
Passion,
that
that has
needs to
there.
be that is above all skills. You can continuously learn and create skills, but you cannot
Exactly.
create dedication and passion. That is one thing.
Another thing which is a little bit ironical to us, because I think we have been the best of friends in campus, and yet we have more or less won a good number of competitions. But it is advisable that you really do not make team with your best friends, because we all know what happens when two of
it,
you
it becomes
sit together.
casual. It
It becomes
becomes
very
casual.
casual.
And
So
I think we became bestest of friends because of case
after,
studies.
yeah,
So
exactly.
that our case is very different, but yes.
And so that's, I think, most importantly, and also your research skills, like small things you should be very like, what should I say, like you should take care from the very first. Like for example, you reach out to people who have won, like Arushi said that they reached out to your campus, but not only in your campus. Use LinkedIn. I think nobody who has done an MBA will be not ready to provide you with some tips or insights. So it is, the whole MBA idea is to network and learn from peers and learn from your seniors.
And yeah, go on.
Go on, Arushi. I mean,
I wanted to say one point, that you need to come out to people and ask that you want to perform in case studies, because people won't come to know whether you're interested or not.
Exactly.
You need to keep asking around till your team is built, because otherwise people will think that he's not interested, she's not interested. But you need to constantly keep asking till you get a concrete team, because you cannot say that after 6 months when everyone's team is formed and then you start asking around, then it becomes very difficult. So you need to show
Absolutely.
interest from the start itself.
And if you are not fitting right with your team, like say suppose for the first case study, you have partnered with someone, but you found out that maybe he's not that proactive or something. Keep changing your partners. Do not stick to the same partners. It's a little bit ironical, I would say, for our case, because ours just fit into the context from the very first day. So I might say that may not, like, everyone might not be so lucky. So in fact, we are lucky to have found out each other in the campus who share the equal passion and determination. So you might not get it at the first time, but you might just get it at the third time, or maybe at the sixth time even. I've seen people from our seniors who have actually started doing competitions in second year, and then they found out that who is the actual guy they should have partnered with.
Because that is the MBA culture. But since not everybody can be a part of NGP, we've got, this Navkiran platform wherein we get people like you who kind of give them these tips, across colleges, across campuses, across specializations, that, please guys, listen to these tips very carefully, because they are providing you tips which can actually help you crack these cases. And trust me, when that feeling is unbeatable, it's unmatchable, the feeling you get when you're a campus finalist also, let alone the national finalist.
That will show everyone.
Yeah,
I
and
think
these guys will, they'll show
feeling.
you their PPT, they'll take you through their experience. So guys, do listen to them. They will provide you crazy insights which you will not get from anywhere, not from your campus, not from your immediate seniors. So guys, moving on to the third question, very interesting. What is HUL Carpe Diem and why should you take it seriously? Like, there's so much buzz around HUL Carpe Diem. Every marketing student wants to do HUL Carpe Diem. So what's the big buzz around it? What exactly is this competition? And what was your Carpe Diem experience like?
Guys, HUL Carpe Diem, first of all, it's a marketing case study and the very first competition that is launched on campus. So everyone is not haven't performed in any of the case studies. It's the very first. So there's a lot of excitement. Everyone is hunting for teams. Everyone is asking around. In fact, everyone participates. It's a pure marketing competition for their own brands. For us, it was Brook Bond Red Label. For the previous year, it was Ponds. So FMCG, consumer goods, everything. So you get a lot of exposure. And secondly, it is only for first years. So you cannot be intimidated by second years and their knowledge. So it is only the first years that are competing. So you all are at the same level. And third is that it's a totally different experience. Like when we went on to talk to the national finalists of our senior batch, they were sharing as to how they were treated, how the entire journey was, and we got so motivated that we gave in all in. And I think you want to add, Shoro, like otherwise we can show them some photos.
Little bit I'll add. So everyone who is a marketing enthusiast, I think everyone wants to head to HUL. Like that is the first brand that comes to your mind, that whatever happens, HUL is the place I want to go, whether you are from a tier 3 college, tier 2 college, or tier 1 college. It is such a brand. HUL is such a brand. And not just because of its products, it's also because the way they treat their employees. I mean, the way they treat us like a simple case study solver, that what I can say, the amount of respect and the amount of value they give to you, it is like simply amazing. Like you coming from a tech background, you coming from a fresher background, you do not have any idea about the M of marketing just before this case, and they value so much. So that is absolutely stunning. I mean,
they have already considered you brand managers.
Exactly. They have already considered you brand managers because you have reached the finals, and they definitely see a potential in you. And I would really like to add this point and would to highlight this point, that there is absolutely no need that you know some pre-marketing concepts or you need to have some marketing knowledge. I'll tell you frankly, Arushi was still in pre-sales. She was working like somewhat. She had some sales and marketing ideas a little bit. She was good in presentations. A simple techie background. I was a totally automotive guy into engineering and stuff. It is very intuitive. Marketing is very intuitive to you. You do not need to go through textbooks and know everything. It's something as simple as when you go to the market and buy a product, you kind of relate that why the product is being sold, what are the reasons behind this product is being sold. Try to think, so that will come naturally to you. You actually do not need to go through a lot of things. Yes, you can do your research, you can very well, like nobody will stop you from researching, but you do not need any prerequisite for this case, right?
The case will automatically teach you many concepts. I don't think there's a prior requisite of everything.
Exactly.
This is the very first case launch. You have no idea. No classes might have even like come to such a level that you have some knowledge.
Exactly.
So this case was like everyone's on the same level.
And
so we would want to share
just a second, Arushi. I'll just like to mention the things that you get if you actually win the competition. So first of all, there is a prize money. Okay. Shall I disclose the award money? I can.
Yeah,
right? You can, but we weren't told about the prize money until unless we reached the
finals. Yes, but we were offered 1 lakh cash direct once you win. So I do hope. I hope. Like I understand. Like a lot of people need cash in campus, right? So that's the way to get it, boss. Simply. And the second thing that is very important is like you get a PPI. And why PPI is so important? Because as Unnati said, that you do not get, so some colleges which do not get Unilever into their campus to recruit for summer interns. This is an absolutely fantastic way to get there, because as a PPI you spend 2 months with outstanding peers, with outstanding brand managers, knowing the basics of marketing like anything. You actually right now it's COVID, so you won't be able to travel. I understand that, but once the situation gets better, I think you will also be able to travel and to get to the base of sales and marketing. You'll get to know the real essence of marketing. You'll get the real essence of marketing actually. So these things will only come with HUL. Like not only HUL, like other similar branded companies, but HUL is the one who takes care of you so much. So definitely you should try for that PPI.
So these are some of the photos of our experience, our journey.
Yeah. Very fancy, guys. Very fancy.
So it was a 2-day event. Like the presentation was on the second day. On the first day, we were made to go to the Taj tea house in Mumbai, and we were made to have tea and snacks with the brand managers of HUL. So we got to interact on a roundtable conference. There were three managers, three roundtables, and they used to rotate and tell their experience, their journey of internship, of their work culture, how do they do their work and everything. And as soon as we entered the room, there was a letter addressed to our names, and it was like, oh my God, it felt so special. We were already treated brand managers. We were given goodies and our own nameplates at tables. So we entered, and there was already Arushi Goyal, Shaurav Poddar, Umang Dadij, and we had to just go there, sit and listen to the people. There's a
So my question is, how did you guys approach the case? Like, that's the most important. Any case study, what is the approach like? Because you need to understand what the evaluators are looking for, and you have to match that. If you match what the evaluators are looking for, then only you will get through your campus, then the zonal level, then the national level, right? So how did you guys understand what the evaluators at HUL are looking for? How did you approach the case?
Okay. So Arushi, can you present it in the presentation mode? Yeah.
I am doing that. You cannot see.
Yeah, we can see.
Guys, you need to be a little louder. Yeah, now it's perfect.
Yeah, we can see. Yeah. So let's do one thing.
Let's tell them about the case. Yes.
Yeah. Let's tell them about the case. So the case that was presented to us was about Brook Bond Tea, which is a very important brand for HUL. And I hope every one of you have seen advertisements of Brook Bond, and how they used to come up with advertisements that used to target social messages, like between Hindu-Muslim division, how they want to bridge that. The certain transgender problems that people are not aware of, how inclusive one society can be. So Brook Bond was always trying to come up with ads which passed on a social message with the help of a tea. So for example, so you generally see that addas that are happening around your city, like you'll see that people talking while having a cup of tea, right? So you will have a cup of tea and you'll discuss, and you carry back some of the ideas, you carry some thought. So the whole intent of this case was to do some sort of campaign so that we can link this social message with Brook Bond tea, and not just make it an advertisement, but actually transform that to a to-do campaign. Now, what do I mean by a to-do campaign? A to-do campaign is actually a campaign which actually goes to the ground level and interacts with people. It's not on TV only, it's not on social media only. It's something that people take a part in, right? It's something that you can experience. So that is what a to-do campaign is. Because even though after 5 years or 6 years of advertisements of social messages and everything, HUL could understand that there was not much changes there in the country. People still used to ignore transgenders. People still used to ignore differentially abled people. So uh, the whole idea was to that any action that helps solve the prejudice that we right now have at hand, and bring this action alive with product and packaging, right? So Arushi, you can
We
go
had to
ahead.
do a live campaign, and if any ideas with product and packaging, and there were two themes given to us: transgenders and differently abled. So it wasn't clear as to we had to choose one particular cause or both the causes. So some teams went with one and some we went with both, but majorly focusing on transgenders. So our approach was that the market research is very important. So we actually interviewed a lot of transgenders, identified what the real issue is. And this is very important. HUL values research a lot because you get to know real insights from them. You know where the company needs to work on. If you identify pain points and work on that, because this is the flow of any case study, rather not only HUL, but if first you need to do research, you need to identify pain points, then link those insights to the actual idea, and that is what any company will look for. Also, you need to constantly come up with ideas and also validate them, because not all ideas can be implemented. Not You need to validate them using maybe counter questioning each other, or brainstorming, asking professors, asking around. So you need to do that. Third is whatever campaign ideas you've got or whatever packaging, you need to check the feasibility, whether it can be implemented and what is the cost that is going to incur to the company, because you need to think from company's perspective also. You cannot only think about the target consumers. So then you need to see whether it is scalable, whether like what all steps, what all implementation plan should be considered by the company. And fourth is, as I said earlier also, whatever ideas you come up with, whatever research, but if you do not know how to portray it to them, how to represent it in a particular manner, otherwise they won't understand. And however good your idea is, however good your insight is, it would be useless if you do not know how to present it. So that is very important.
So I would just like to add few points to that. For example, Arushi explained about the market research part. Okay. So in general, research is actually divided into two parts: primary research and secondary research. So I hope a lot of the people who are attending this session might know that primary research is something that you yourself are doing. You're going out on the streets, you're going out to the market, you're trying to understand people, you're trying to understand consumer, you're getting the real insights from the real market. And secondary research is just to validate whatever you have found out through links or internet consulting reports maybe, or through Nielsen reports or whatever, like throughout, like you try to validate your primary research with the secondary research, and then you make sure that you extract a final insight out of these two. So what essentially happens, so I'll just give you a very simple example, or like an anecdote. So do you really think that the campaign that you are designing, or I mean whatever packaging that you are designing, they would immediately implement it? No, they won't, because they already have millions spent on agencies, those who are actually working for them. There are consulting companies who are working for them. But the problem with this kind of case, with this kind of consulting companies or agencies, are they have a lot of attitude in themselves, and they do not do real ground level check. They do not bring the insight from the actual market. So if we go out, if we kind of try to find out those insights, then it helps the company to then understand the insight, and then they can just pass on that information to the agencies, and they can create a much beautiful
They
campaign. And
see how much effort you've taken. Like in
yes,
case of Carpe Diem, we went to 20-30 transgenders and interviewed them. We saw how they lived, and how, like what was the situation, how they were treated. Secondly, in HUL Tectonic, we went to the dump yard because the case was based on plastic. So we went to a dump yard on a bike, and
plastic
it was so
recycling.
far. Yes, plastic recycling. So actual insight you will only get that when you go on ground. Like you will have lots of reports online, they might have done a lot of research, but you will understand when you actually see it. So that is one thing that I would like to add.
True. And see the idea and validate part. So Arushi, I think already explained that. So I'll talk about our team, what the team dynamics in ours was. So me, Arushi, and Umang was another person who was there in the team. Umang was a very data centric guy. He knew how to find out stuffs from the internet. So he used to go to this internet and found out stuff. And me and Arushi was more on the idea part, discussing like what can be done and everything. And things sometimes got so tense between us, because I was completely rejecting her idea and she was completely rejecting my idea, that we might have even had some big quarrels between ourselves. But that is very important for you to do, because until and unless you question and find out and make it foolproof, your solution, you won't be able to defend in front of the judges, right? So it has to be there in your team. That is why we are saying that you need to validate, because some idea you might have, some idea like your opposite member might have, but you need to validate them. You need to make sure that this idea actually works, and there is no way the judges can break through them and beat you in that. And data representation, as Arushi said, like putting proper kind of graphs, proper pie charts, like you need to learn this very. I think Arushi was absolutely excellent in this field. I mean, all kudos to her, that the way she used to represent so much of information in so little space, was that is simply out of the game. Matlab, that is a big thing for you to learn in presentations, because you need to know how to crisp your data. You need to know how to put concise your
Because
data.
you cannot congest your slide, because that will be very boring for the, it should be
Exactly. Lot of
both. It should be
infographics.
data centric also and interesting also for the panelists, because they are going through hundreds of submissions. So you need to think about that as well. It should be very easy to understand for the panelists. You cannot give them another puzzle for them to just go to your slide and read. They are not going to put in that much of work.
Yeah.
So I think we'll show them 2 slides of ours, then they'll understand. So
Ma'am,
this
can I ask a
was
question?
like,
Is Rishabh Singh here? Can I ask one question?
Guys, questions will be taken towards the end. Let them first show them. Let them show you the PPT that they have made or the pages that they have created, and we'll take the questions just in another 10 minutes. I think they'll be done, and then we'll take the questions.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
But we will definitely take your questions. First question we'll take from you.
okay, so like we haven't showed the entire presentation, just 2 slides so that you get a rough idea. So this was one slide where we put primary, secondary research and key insights and how you present it. Like, I don't know, but like Shauro will tell you whether it is appealing or not. Because for me, I made it so it looks good to
No,
me.
it was
But
for me as an engineering background and someone who can just only draw a rectangle and a circle in a PPT, boss, this was out of my zone. Matlab, the first time I saw it, I was like, how could you even do things like this? So I
we
think
put
this is,
little interviews, snippets, so that
yeah,
people, so that they know that we have actually gone out.
exactly. So you need to know very clearly that what data. So you might have found out 25 sites that gives you information. You might have created a Word doc that is 1500 pages. But boss, there is no need of that. You just need to know what exact point you need to
You
keep.
need to identify
You need to
what all is
identify
to
what all
be.
you need to keep and how best you can keep it. So for example, you can see on the left hand side the monthly income of TGs. So see how the graph had been represented, like the infographic had been represented. See the pie chart. So this, once you put an infographic, there is so much of data in so little of space, and you and your and the person who is actually viewing this PPT, he's also educated. I mean, he's not someone like he's an MBA himself or a very senior guy who's actually going through the data. So you did not need to explain him everything in detail, right? So you just cut to the chase and stick to the problem.
And I think, and the first submission that you give, the evaluation criteria is solely based on the presentation. So
Exactly.
whatever data you have to put it very nicely so that if your efforts is seen in the presentation. The
Also small
second round is where you present it. So yeah, go on.
So small things, like you can see at the very downside, you see that there is a source tab, there is a primary research tab. So you mention the links from where you have got this information, because until and unless you quote a source, there is no surety that these are actual facts. So these small things actually create a lot of impression in the viewer's mind.
So this was another
Absolutely.
slide of ours.
Yeah, please show on another slide.
Arushi, why don't you
Yeah, so
explain the whole idea before going to that slide? I think we can explain the campaign idea, like what we had, because we explained them the problem. So let's tell them about what we did in short.
So we were thinking to put up stalls with like do a proper campaign, have screens and give out free red label chai to people.
Yes.
And it was in IT parks that we were thinking of, and we had planned as to what all cities we'll target and what all dates we'll give, because date was very important. We chose Transgenders Day and I I don't remember the entire solution, but we had everything in place. Like we were installing it in the stalls in IT parks, and we were selling it for free. And there were projectors showing advertisements of what all interviews of the interviews taken with these transgenders, so that people can have tea and see what they go through and connect with them, because while having tea they don't usually like they're not on phones or something, they just look around, they can be more inclusive with the brand when they're having tea. So apart from that, anything else?
Yeah,
Sure. And
yeah.
then we
So
thought of packaging also. Yeah.
yeah, we'll come to packaging. So generally, what we thought, what our whole idea was, like एक घुट चाय और सबको अपना है.
Sabko apna.
That was the tagline we created. That with one cup of tea, we'll connect with everyone. We'll own everyone. Everyone will be a part of us. And that is what the whole message was about transgenders, right? That you need to include them in the society. So this kind of thing should come out from your solution. You need to, if you are making a campaign, you need to come out with taglines. You need to show somehow that what the campaign would look like. Like I remember Arushi made small infographics of how the tea was being sold and how people were gathered there, and people were actually watching some kind of videos of
In fact, this triangular packaging we came because we thought that the acceptance of the third, like there are three
Yes.
genders. So this everything that our idea had was related to transgenders, and we had
So as you
put a
can see,
lot of
like there is a
thought into it.
three, like it's a triangular face, triangular shaped product, which signifies that it's for the third gender. The color of the red label at the very upfront is a mixture of white, pink,
Flag.
and blue. That is the typical transgender flag. We also came up with a 3-in-1 flavored chai. This is like these are promotional campaigns that you did,
Yes.
right? And then we came up with small stories. So these days you will see at the like when you open a box, you can see that small snippets of stories you have. Then also we put a QR scanner to pay through BHIM UPI app. For example, you want to contribute, you are moved by this sentiment and you want to contribute for the betterment of the transgender development, so you contribute some money to them. And we considered the whole aspect of packaging, like what is the size, what is the weight, what type of
Yes,
printing
we
material.
did digital marketing also. Like we wanted to spread this word as much as possible. The reach should be maximum. So we applied both offline, online media. Packaging was changed.
And I
So I
remember
think
we gave financials also. Like for example, you are doing a
financials.
marketing, so you can say that I will do a campaign on 5 cities. You can say I will do a campaign on 20 cities. But will your manager allow it? What is the cost that is going to be involved
And
in
when
this?
you do those costing, you will realize as to what should your limit be, because
Exactly.
it gives you a lot
It
of
gives you the
insights.
feasibility check. It tells you, okay, so you understand that a company like HUL may spend 20-50 lakhs on a campaign. That's fine. But if you're doing it for a company which is way, so you can compare these things with the revenue of the company. You can find out the annual report and find out like how much revenue in market, like how much cost it had allocated in marketing and promotions. And then you can get an overall idea of how much the cost is. And then you can design your campaigns based on this. So once you, so do you understand that there is an end-to-end scenario?
But whatever solution we are giving, this is to a particular case. Like it
Yes,
can
yes,
vary also as per yourself. Like you do not have to stick to whatever we thought of. Every case will be different. In fact, in Carpedium itself, you can have a very different outlook to the entire solution. But it is always better to be original. It should be your idea. You should own it. Like as you can see, we own this solution. Even after a year, we are able to give in so much of information about what we had thought of back then.
and I'll tell you honestly, neither me, neither Arushi had the time to actually go through our previous PPT. We just simply
We
came.
just copy pasted 2 slides, any random slides, to show you a snippet, and that was it.
Guys, very relevant question by Siddhant Raizada. I mean, we're not taking questions, but he says that are these ideas only from brainstorming or research? So if you guys could just say that it is a mix of both and insight is the king. So can you just
Definitely.
like maybe hint on that?
Yes, as we mentioned, like whatever research we did, and then based on that we got insights. So all of the ideas were original. Like in some case studies, you can incorporate ideas from different companies, from different competitors. But here it was completely original. As we said, we were brainstorming for 4-5 hours in the night to just come up with this. We went to a lot of seniors. We verified our presentation with them because they were, of course, experienced in case studies. So they also gave in a lot of inputs from their end as well. So like incorporating everything, this was the solution that we came up with. And in Tectonic also, I think we gave a end-to-end solution, and that was the key for us, because whatever idea we gave, it was somewhat similar with other teams as well. but what they looked for was very different, which we satisfied. We'll tell you what are the evaluation criteria. I think Shauru, you can take this up.
Yeah, just before going to the evaluation, last point with respect to the previous slide is, until and unless you research, you won't be able to brainstorm. Ideas won't come to you. You are not Archimedes or you are not Newton. I mean, we all are not Archimedes and we all are not Newton. So we do not have the knowledge beforehand. Until unless we see a company doing a specific thing, we get some ideas. Okay, so if a European company was doing something similar to this segment, maybe we can customize that to our Indian context.
Yes.
So you need to understand how to apply, how to take that solution, and
Even
that is,
even you can
that is,
take ideas from cross industry also.
yes, definitely.
From anywhere. You need to just keep on researching, get insights.
So the solutions that we showed with respect to Carpe Diem, uh, you should not even remember the solution. Just remember the approach. How we arrived at it. What we were saying. How we arrived at the solution.
Absolutely.
So,
Approach is the key.
approach is the key.
Every
Approach
case
is
study
the
will have a different approach. See, your solution cannot be, they cannot copy your solution to the next case study, right? It will not be,
Exactly.
it will not be the case. The solution cannot be copied, but the approach needs to be understood. That the research, the creativity, the market insights that you guys looked for, and you actually did so much effort on the primary and secondary researches and brainstorming. So yeah, you guys should take that back with you. And guys, just one thing, that the costing and finances, like how did you generate the feasibility? So if you guys can also just maybe give some idea on that and continue.
I just explained that a little bit in the previous slide. So, for example, you performed a campaign, you made a campaign, right? So you need to give a costing of it, like how let us take our example. So we said that we will be giving teas. So we need to know how many cups. So we guess estimated the number of cups of teas. What is the cost that is going to make that tea? And we said that we are going to take some 42-inch or 55-inch LED TVs where some advertisements will go on. So the renting of that, some audio systems that we are going to rent of the premises that we are actually doing upon. So all these things will be categorized under costing, and you come to a final solution.
And
then how do
prices you can get on net.
Yes, prices you. So I can even tell you. No, I won't tell you because you need to research that, right? So another thing is like, so once you found out that costing, now how do you make sure that is within the limit, that is within a company? So go to HUL's annual report, go to the Group 1 segment, and try to find out that how much money they spent on advertising. So once you see that, you get to understand, okay, so मेरा ये limit में है. I'm somewhere around closer. It does not need to be accurate. Obviously, you cannot predict an accurate one. So it needs to be in the range of that. So if it is there, I think that is what the feasibility check is all about. Yeah. So moving on to the evaluation part. So as we already mentioned,
we have mentioned all these points. All these points are taken well into consideration by the panelists.
Whether it is
only the question answer round we haven't talked about much. Yeah. So that is
So for example, so the most important thing, as we mentioned, was research, right? You need to research well, then put those things in a creative way, like to do a campaign in a creative manner and something. And then one of the very most important thing is the clarity of thought, that a solution should have a flow. It cannot be random stuffs in one slide and then again a very random stuff in the second slide. So you have to maintain a proper flow of information. So if you are actually doing a case, you have to come from research and then your idea, then how you are transforming that idea into an action plan, then the costing, and then your final ROI, maybe what is actually your return on investment on this costing. So that is how the information should flow. Third, we come to the communication part. So I think this is a very important example that I'm going to mention. So in Carpe Diem, we had a team from Mica, right? Right, Arushi, you remember, right?
Yes.
There was a team from Mica. So they did something completely unique. I'm not telling
you. And just one more thing, in HUL, not allowed to see other presentations. So whatever we are telling is based on the judges. When they announced the results, they were telling good things about certain presentations. So one was of Mica. Now
so what Mica did was they had built their case on on physically disabled people. So they started the presentation for the first 10-20 seconds trying to use sign language, showing that they are dumb and deaf. So the judges could not understand, right? The judges were not able to understand what they were speaking. And after 20 seconds, they said something like this, okay, so you understand what kind of problems these deaf and dumb people have. So don't you think we should include them in the society? They need a helping hand. So that was a very, I really loved that, even though I didn't see it live, but I really loved that idea. So thanks to that Mica team. I don't know who they were actually. I mean, I knew that back then, but I've forgotten about them. So kudos to them for coming up with such a brilliant type of example of communication. So your communication needs to be very crisp, innovative, and to the point. And then lastly, the question answer round, as Arushi said, I think Arushi, mostly if you own the PPT, you would be able to defend your.
You will automatically, in fact, clarity of thought and communication, everything will be sought out. If you have like proper structure, you own the solution, then everything will fall in place.
Yes,
That is
absolutely.
one thing for sure.
Absolutely.
Right. And guys, I remember you guys were telling me about the fact that, in Tectonic, which you guys won, you guys were a wildcard entry. So if you guys can tell the audience that you don't always need to be from the top tier college, because that competition didn't open tier 2 colleges and you guys still won it at the national level. And you guys were also mentioning that your defending ability on your Q&A gave you that edge. So if you guys can just give that little bit of insight to everyone. Actually, what happened?
Yes, so we were wildcard entries for Tectonic, and we did not have a middle round. So it was directly a one-page Word document and then the national finale. And all the other colleges that were there, they had a campus round as well. So they had.
Arushi, can you also tell them for which colleges it was open? Because it does not open for a lot of our colleges.
Yes, so it was for XLRI, SPJN, IIM Lucknow, Kozhikode.
I'm Lucknow, Kozhikode, Indore, NM.
Indore,
NM, sorry,
NM was
wildcard. NM was also
wildcard
wildcard.
like us.
So guys, you can be wildcards at the competition which is not open at your campus. And yeah, guys, over to you.
We had to make our presentation within 2 days. We went. So every college, every team will automatically think that we are wildcards. So we would not have that much of a chance when we went. But we thought that we'll give our best. At least we are getting to experience the national round experience and everything. So we just gave our best. And we were like intimidated by all the colleges because they had already presented their solution in the campus round itself. And this was the second round for them. So they might have already concreted their idea to one extent, and then they was just making changes in that for the finale. And we were the fresh ones. We came and we won, and we were like, oh my god. That was really amazing, and all our myths were broken. Be it wildcard entries or you are proper entry, like the allowed colleges, anyone can win if you have a solution in place. And they valued our end-to-end solution. We most of our ideas were common. Like they themselves said in the while they were announcing the result, that 5 to 6 teams had the similar idea, but we won because we had an end-to-end solution. We took care of everything, be it supply chain, be it distribution, be it ideas, or the actual, like it was on circular economy of plastic, reducing waste. So we took care of everything. And the best part was that the idea that we gave, they were implementing it, and it was in pilot phase. So it was not out of the blue, just we all did not know that it was in pilot phase. So and the question answers they asked were the problems that they were facing with their own product, and we could defend them. That is what they liked about us. So if you own the solution and you're able to defend your ideas and they like it, then you're through. Like it doesn't matter whether you're a normal college or a wildcard entry.
So like these innovations, so since the topic has come up, so I would like to just say about 2 or 3 more things. First of all, we have this mindset in college, like, who am I? What can I do? I'm just a first year. The seriousness is not there, because you underestimate yourself a lot, first to your peers and then also to better colleges. That has been there. That has been with me. I think it is there in everyone a little bit. So my only request to you guys is, pick up this innovation thing in you and just throw it in the dustbin. Let it go. Just compete for the fun of it. Just compete to submit. Do not even think that you will go for the campus rounds. Do not even think you will qualify. Just give it for the fun of it. I'm, I mean, me and Arushi was actually discussing about this few days back. In our college, in XIMB, so there are certain teams that who regularly participate, right? So so after first year, I haven't seen any team who used to put proper efforts have not won anything, which means
You
that
might not get it right in the first go itself.
you
We
might not
did,
get exactly.
but it is not compulsory. Like everyone will not win, and you might not even clear the campus round. But if you keep on putting efforts in all the case studies, I'm sure, and I'm 100% sure that one case will, like, you will have a bullseye.
There were six or seven proper teams, or even a little bit more than the 10 teams around from our campus who used to participate in every case study competition, including us. And I'll tell you, all of them have reached to a certain level, either a campus finalist or a national finalist or regional semi-finalist or some or the other round. They have qualified and they have updated their CV. So they have been there. They have added something new to their first year of MBA. That is very, very essential. And the next thing was, like as Arushi mentioned, that there might be better colleges, there might be better, you might be even having second years in opposition. Do not get inhibited by them.
In Tectonic, first year, second years, both were there. Other colleges were there, and we were wild card. So it was like everything was against us. So automatically we'll think that we not have a very good chance, but we won. But we won. So that was.
Absolutely, guys. So, guys, my last question to you will be that do different competitions require different approaches? Because approach is the most important in any competition. So, they require a different approach. Like, did you have a different approach for Tectonic or did you have a different approach for Lime? Also, I would like to tell the entire audience that is sitting here that this time HUL Lime might exclusively come out for the first years. They're planning to exclusively come out for you guys. And Shora here has been the campus finalist at Lime as well. So, I mean, does the approach vary from competition to competition, and how should you approach different competitions and different cases? And after this, Arushi and Sora, we will open the floor for questions. So, if you guys could just give a little bit about the approach for different competitions.
Arushi, you can start with the approach part and then I'll just take up the line part.
Okay, all the cases, as I said earlier, also you need to research about the competition because what all submittals they require, and some companies also launch the evaluation criteria. So that is very important. Secondly, actually the case matters because if it's a marketing case, if it's a IT strategy case, or if it's a finance case, everything will have a different approach. But basic will be same, that you need to do research in all case studies. You need to identify pain points, you need to ideate, because what are they looking for? Some will value your ideas, some will value your research, but you need to do all of these things, and you need to go and see the PPTs of previous years, contact people from different colleges also who have gone to a certain level, and you will automatically understand as to how to approach a case. I think we have gathered and elaborated almost everything.
Yeah. So coming to the Lime part, so I think the very first thing that I'm going to talk to you about is that Lime was always a bit tougher than Carpe Diem. Why? Because Lime was not only for first years, it was second years mainly, and Carpe Diem was typically for first years. So this time I think the things have changed and they are doing it exclusively for first years, and that might indicate that they might bring down the level a little bit to match the level of first years. But you should understand one thing, that Lime had a very proper understanding. Like you need a much more insights into marketing about, for example, what segmentation is, what targeting is, what positioning is. As I remember, our case in our times, it was on precision marketing. It was on precision marketing, and my case and our case was like you had to market Dove shampoo into very, like you need to identify the different brands of Dove shampoo and how you are going to like go ahead with marketing with respect to typical segments. Like for example, someone who is using a Dove shampoo in a humid area will not use the same Dove shampoo who is using in a dry area, because the constituents change, the chemical changes, the whole the whole requirement from the shampoo changes, right? So how you are going to do it? So obviously you understand that there are lot of technicalities that come into play. I saw that. So in my first year, I kept it a very intuitive presentation. Like I did not know much about marketing in that sense. There were teams from second years who use data analytics in the form of SPSS. So they use SPSS to categorize data and find out clusters of people, how they will go about. For example, they're studying about a whole population, so they made clusters of people and made projected specific marketing strategies for each and every cluster. So that is the way they went about it. So since I did not have a knowledge about SPSS, because that comes after the, I think the third sem that comes third semester or something, it comes around. And also people, those who were studying in the second year, they have also, there are electives like AMDA, for example, advanced marketing digital data analytics, right? So advanced marketing data analytics like subject. So they are much into marketing, so they are much into the science of marketing. In Carpe Diem, it is the essence of marketing, but in Lime it was always the science of marketing. So you need to understand.
Lime tests you on certain concepts of marketing. Every
Exactly.
year, they choose one concept and ensures that the people who are participating learn from it. So you have to go deep in whatever case you get for Lime this year. First of all, the best part is that it is only for first year, so you do not have to worry as to some other team will have greater knowledge than you. So it is only for first years, but you need to really give in your effort and time, because it is not easy. When we saw the case for the very first time, we were confused as to what they were asking. There's a 4x4 matrix, and we did not know what to fill, what data to be
Yes.
like put in that. So that was
Very important point. Arushi said that in Carpe Diem, we had to submit our 6-slider presentation at the very first beginning. Either it was a 4-slider or 6-slider, I do not exactly remember, but yes.
4-slider and
Yes.
then 8.
And then 8. And in Lime, there was only 2 slides that you had to fill, and that too with the proper template they had given. So you could not make much changes to it. So they wanted exact point-to-point information about how you are going ahead with the science of marketing. Do you know the full form of Lime? Lime means lessons in marketing excellence. So I hope you do understand that they are trying to make you learn through this process. It's not
Yes.
actually HUL. I mean, this is why I love HUL, because they spend so much on us for our knowledge. So
Absolutely.
They're not looking for ideas. They already have. They have insights. They have people to study their consumer. They want you to take efforts and understand the concept. And if they see that, you are through.